Hey guys, welcome to the Max Invest YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Chainlink Oracle nodes. I want to discuss briefly what running a Chainlink Oracle node actually means, and then I want to go into what are the big companies that actually run Chainlink Oracle nodes. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. So let's get into the video. Now, the basics of a Chainlink Oracle node is all it is it's one individual selling their data to another individual. To be a bit more specific, what you're doing is you're bringing your data, real world data on chain, and you're letting a smart contract developer use that data for their smart contract. Now, for using this data, the smart contract developer will pay a fee, and this fee will be paid in Link. This is how Chainlink gets its fundamental value. So, to take a very simple example, we have World Weather Online. Now, what this company is doing is they're running a Chainlink Oracle node. This means that they're bringing the real world weather data on chain. Now, smart contract developers may need to know the weather data. For example, if someone is doing crop insurance, they will need to know what the weather is in order to actually make the insurance plans work out. Of course, this means they'll need to pay World Weather Online for their weather data, and then they'll be able to use this in the smart contracts. A very simple but unrealistic example is, if I want to pay somebody 2 ETH when the weather hits 30 degrees Celsius, well, what I could do is I could use World Weather Online's data. It would then tell the smart contract when the weather hits this, and that individual would be immediately paid. Of course, to actually gain access to this data, I need to pay the Chainlink Oracle node in Link tokens, and then I can set up the conditions for this smart contract. This is all running a Chainlink Oracle node is. So in order to run a Chainlink Oracle node, these big companies and entities that have all of the data essentially do need to set up some software. All they need to do is they need to set up a Chainlink Oracle node operator. Of course, since I'm not a very technical person, I'm not exactly sure how this works specifically. However, once they set up this Chainlink Oracle node, it will be automatically watching the blockchain for new incoming data requests, fetching the requested data off-chain from specific APIs, and delivering the data on-chain where it can be consumed by the consumer, and it will trigger a smart contract for its execution. So all a node operator is doing is it's helping us bring our real-world data on-chain. Of course, many of you know that this is the primary purpose of Chainlink. The primary purpose is data delivery, and then we have a whole bunch of secondary purposes such as cross-chain interoperability, proof of reserves, and all of that good stuff. There are two separate ways of bringing data on-chain. The first way is because of the standard API model, and the second way is through the origin signed data model. Now, the standard API model is one of the most common ones, and it's useful for onboarding the entire world on chain. Essentially, what happens in the standard API model is the node operator is a separate entity from the data source. This means that there is one specific node operator. Usually this node operator will be a company. For example, there's node operators such as Link and Link Forest. Now, these will be specifically in charge of actually running the Chainlink Oracle nodes, and then they're going to get data from external sources. So all this means is a bunch of individuals will say to Linkpool, hey, we want to monetize our data, we'll give you some data. Linkpool will then say to them, all right, we will run the Chainlink Oracle node. This means that this Chainlink Oracle node could be processing data from a couple hundred sources. Linkpool actually processes data from 300 different sources right now. So this is a very common approach, and what it means is it means businesses don't need to set up the software and run their own Chainlink Oracle node. All they do is they leave this with another individual or another company to do this for them. A very, very efficient model, and very, very useful for getting businesses to monetize their data without needing to worry about the Chainlink Oracle node problem. Now, the next way is the origin signed data model. Essentially, this is when the data provider specifically runs their own Chainlink Oracle node. Now, there are a few big benefits to doing this and not actually using link pool. The first big benefit for doing this is that the data provider essentially cryptographically signs all of their data, so you know it's from this data provider. For example, the Associated Press is a Chainlink Oracle node. Now, the Associated Press wants to confirm that all of their data is accurate all the time. This means that they want to cryptographically sign all of the data and run their own Chainlink Oracle node. This also means that if anybody looks at this data, they will know 100% it's from the Associated Press and it cannot be falsified. So, in situations where it's very, very important, it is a good idea for the individual business to actually run their own Oracle node to verify all of the data comes from them. However, to get mass adoption, we do need the standard API model, and we need to be using things like link pool and link forest. Now, I want to discuss all of the big businesses and companies that are running their own Chainlink Oracle nodes. A quick disclaimer before we do this: you don't need to be running a Chainlink Oracle node in order to be using it. I would say that anyone using any of Chainlink's other services or actually consuming the data is a user of Chainlink, and this is definitely a fact. However, if we take a look at some of the big companies that are using Chainlink, there is a lot of them. Now, the first company that I've already alluded to is the Associated Press. Essentially, the Associated Press is running their own Chainlink Oracle node. Now, the Associated Press is a very, very important company because what it's essentially doing is it's verifying all of the news, verifying that it's all correct, and releasing it to the public. Now, the benefit of the Associated Press running a Chainlink Oracle node is they can cryptographically sign all of their news and all of their data. This means that smart contract developers will know that it comes from the Associated Press, and this is a very, very important function in my mind. This also only happened about a month or so ago. Now, the next couple of companies that are using Chainlink Oracle nodes are a few big weather companies. From my understanding, a lot of weather companies use Chainlink, and the reason for this is actually for insurance purposes in most cases. There's a very, very big market for decentralized insurance, and we're already seeing some of the biggest insurance companies on board, and they do need weather data on-chain to make the insurance work. World Weather Online is running their own Chainlink Oracle node, Google Cloud is running their own Chainlink Oracle node, and Google Cloud are also delivering weather data, and AccuWeather is also running their own Chainlink Oracle node. So as we can see, a lot of different companies are providing some weather data to Chainlink to help out with insurance. Now, the next company that is running their own Chainlink Oracle node is T-Systems. Essentially, T-Systems is a subsidiary of Dutch Telecom, which is a huge company. Now, I struggled to find exactly what data this was bringing on-chain. However, from my understanding, this is bringing technology and telecommunications data. So all of the telecommunications data that is occurring on a global scale is being brought on-chain by T-Systems. They started running this Oracle node roughly last year in about July, and they've been doing it ever since very successfully and monetizing their own data. Now, the next company that's running their own Chainlink Oracle node is very, very similar to T-Systems. This is, of course, Swisscom. Swisscom is one of the biggest technology companies that exists in Switzerland. Now, what Swisscom are doing is they're bringing a lot of different IT and technology data on-chain, as well as some good telecommunications data as well. Swisscom are very, very excited about Chainlink. They've talked about working with them for a while, and they thought that they may as well monetize their existing data. Now, after this is essentially all of the big companies that are using Chainlink, and then following this, there's a long list of other companies. So as you can see on the page right here, there's a load of different companies and a load of different things running their own Oracle nodes. As we can see, just to pick out a couple, there is Watch Signals Luxury Watch Price running an Oracle. This means all of the data from watch prices is being brought on chain. There's some real estate Oracle nodes. There's some sports Oracle nodes, and there's just a bunch of different stuff. Another one that I found quite interesting is CipherTrace. Essentially, CipherTrace is owned by MasterCard, and MasterCard is one of the biggest payments companies in the world. So this is definitely very cool and one to look out for. Also, another quick point is anyone can monetize their data. If you have important data that you want to bring on chain and you're an individual or a company, you can easily do this. All you need to do is work with Linky and they can set up a Chainlink Oracle node and monetize your own data. So there's a bunch of possibilities. Now, in my opinion, running a Chainlink Oracle node will be the new standard. Every single company will do this. Now, if the company is lazy, what they're going to do is they're going to pass this on to someone else. They'll pass it on to Linky and they'll get free money for doing this. They're monetizing their data, the smart contract developers are paying them for doing this, and they get some good income. So, as far as I can see it, essentially everyone is incentivized to run a Chainlink Oracle node, and this is going to become more and more mainstream into the future. Now, this is absolutely massive, because what this means is we're bringing real-world data on chain. We're bringing all of the real-world data on chain, and we're allowing ourselves to actually live in a digital world that is controlled by smart contracts. Of course, this makes me very, very bullish on the future, and it really shows how Chainlink bridges the real world onto the blockchain, which is great to see. Anyway, if you found this video useful, remember to subscribe to the channel. We're going for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We might not make it there, however, we're trying really hard to do it. Anyway, thanks for watching the video.